I think my wife cheated, but I can't prove it. Me, 35M, wife, 35F, has been very sketchy recently. Several years ago we used to be in swingers, but then she became a teacher at a local middle school and we both agreed it needed to stop. Also, I had really started to lose interest in the lifestyle. Not sure this is even relevant, but thought I'd mention it. Since this January, her behavior has changed. All of the normal stuff, reduced sex drive and lots of time on her phone. Plus she had a male co-worker that she frequently talked about. Apparently he's very funny. She was going out on Fridays after work about twice a month and not returning home until after midnight. This bothered me as I felt it was unsafe for her to be out so late. She claimed that she was fine and they just liked to hang out. I didn't mind her going out as occasionally I did the same with my friends occasionally, but always home before midnight. I had mentioned that I would like to go to one of these get-togethers, however she said spouses haven't attended and she would find it weird. I knew that was stupid as who cares and her parents could keep our kids for the night. The next week, a month ago, I just showed up anyway. She was sitting next to this male co-worker and two other teachers had their husbands with them. While I was there, Brad and my wife barely even talked. Odd given how much she would talk about him. FYI, Brad is not even attractive and he's a teacher. I make way more than this man. I can't understand what she sees in this guy. By comparison, I am moderately attractive while Brad is maybe a 5 out of 10. He must have an amazing personality or a huge dick. I don't know. The whole thing wrapped up around 9:30 p.m., not 1 a.m. All very sketchy. At that point I was convinced something was going on. The next day, I checked our phone records and they were texting frequently every day, 5 to 20 times a day every day. I ended up confronting her and asked to see her text messages. I didn't tell her that I had checked our phone records. She said I was being paranoid and showed me. Their chat history showed only a few text messages per week despite the fact that he was above me on the list and I had texted her that same day. At that point, I am 100% positive something was going on. Again, I didn't tell her what I knew, but I told her that I wasn't cool with her relationship with Brad and I had some thinking to do. She told me I was being crazy and then I slept on the couch. The next day, she let me know that she would stop associating with him unless it was strictly work-related. I didn't believe her. I then hired a Pi to track her when she went out, but she hasn't gone out again for the last month. Ultimately I'm out a few $1,000s I paid the Pi since she's behaving herself. Now she's returned to her pre-affair self. Unfortunately, I can't prove she cheated, but I'm 99% certain she did. I'm leaning towards divorce, but we have kids and again I can't prove anything. I'm still sleeping on the couch which really upsets her. She has initiated sex on several occasions, but I haven't been interested. She told me she would transfer to a different school if that would help me calm down, still claiming that I'm being crazy. We live in an at-fault state, so not being able to prove anything really sucks. Update: I think my wife cheated but can't prove it. First, I wanted to thank people for all of their advice. A lot of it has been very helpful. Anyway, she and I spoke. I confronted her with everything and she made no effort to deny things, this time. Obviously, as I knew, she was gaslighting me and she admits that. I informed her that I was thinking about divorce but also about remaining and just co-parenting our kids. I really don't want to split custody, not do I want her to get her chump Brad involved in their lives. She insisted that nothing physical happened but admits that she let things go too far with him. She also said that she would rather get a divorce than live with someone who no longer wanted to be with her, that it would be too painful and unhealthy. Having said that, she doesn't want either of those options and she loves me and wants to work on things. She has already asked for a transfer to another school. She told me that Brad was not going to be part of her life going forward, even if we get divorced, and that it was just a friendship that got inappropriate, but never involved anything physical. She admits that he wants her to leave me and she never shut that down. She was very flattered by all of his attention and commitments. Additionally, they had things in common that my wife and I didn't. She went to his place 3 times and claims all they did was some movies that I didn't enjoy, Harry Potter movies. This is hard to believe, but she swears it's true. No way this is acceptable, even if true. I have watched all of those movies with her countless times. Granted, I wasn't really paying attention, but I can practically quote those stupid movies. He also sent her a dick pic at one point. She had asked him not to, but he did anyway. Obviously she should have reported this to HR, but she didn't. She claims that she didn't want to get him in trouble. I asked, and apparently he has a rather large penis. For comparison, mine is above average but nobody would call it huge. She said she deleted it shortly after he sent it to her. For her part, she sent him 3 photos. One was a picture of her in a dress and heels, that she wore to a work event at my job. Claims she wanted his opinion on it. She also sent him 2 pictures of her feet. Sounds odd, but she has very attractive feel and made some cash as a foot model in the past. One was used for a Temu ad for high heels they sell. She swears that's all she sent him. Additionally, they went antique shopping once. She loves doing this and I hate it. I honestly wouldn't have minded her shopping with him had she told me. Apparently they were work spouses and she enjoyed this. I wasn't too upset by that as I had something similar at work, but it only existed at work. There was nothing else to it, no texts or staying out late or going shopping. I wouldn't even go out for lunch with her unless someone else was with us. This ended when she repeatedly mentioned that her husband was out of town for the weekend. Could tell where she wanted things to go. She is married BTW to a man who has cheated on her. She let me know that she had texted him to tell him that she was ending the friendship. She showed me the text. She explained that the relationship had crossed lines and she regrets not ending things sooner. She showed me the text. He responded by bad-mouthing me and told her that we don't have anything in common. This isn't true. There are many interests that we don't share, but we have many things we enjoy doing together. She blocked him after receiving a few of those texts. Even if she is telling the truth, I'd still be mad about her going to his house and all of the lying. However, she's very remorseful and upset at herself for damaging our marriage. Not sure what I'm going to do. We had such a great marriage, but I find it difficult trusting her right now. Update 2, I think my wife cheated but I can't prove it. This happened a few days ago. Have been too stressed to update TBH. Spoke with my wife. The whole thing turned into a shit show. We started by calling Brad. I was oddly very nervous about this. My wife called from her phone. He answered and she explained that I needed to talk to him. After a long pause he said okay, this should be interesting. I didn't beat around the bushes and ask him why he thought it was okay to send my wife a picture of his dick. Another pause and he said I'm not doing this shit and he hung up. I informed her that we would be doing a polygraph, both of us. She was totally fine with this. Since the test only allow yes or no questions, I read her the questions I would ask and allowed her to answer. 1. Did you have sex with Brad? She answered, no. No need to elaborate. 2. Did you ever kiss Brad? I didn't, but he kissed me the last time I was at his place so I left. He also groped me briefly while he kissed me. We agreed she would answer no during the test. 3. Did you want to have sex with him? She paused. No. I mean, I thought about it. Well, I didn't think about it, but I wondered what it would be like. I followed up by asking WTF did she mean by that? She said well. Long pause. When I saw his dick I was like that thing is huge. So I thought that it might be fun but didn't actually plan to do anything. I started to ask my next question, but then yelled I'm sorry my dick isn't fun enough for you, got up and went to our room to grab some clothes and leave for the night. It was kind of irrational on my part. I've always been a little insecure about my manhood. Statistically, I'm above average. Yes, I've measured and about 6.25 inches since I'm sure everyone will wonder. During our swinging days, it became clear that she had a preference for larger dicks. I try not to let it bother me but it always did. Honestly, hadn't thought about it for years. What my wife said was kind of triggering. Objectively, fantasies are not cheating and most people have them. I don't want to be mad about what she said, but I am. I already felt insecure, now even more so. I always knew she wasted bigger. But then I think, who cares? She picked me. Nobody has everything they want. I wish she had bigger boobs, so how am I any better? Anyway, I left the house for a hotel. She was begging me not to leave, but I left. She called and texted a lot. I eventually texted that I just need to calm down. I decided that this was not going to be the reason we would divorce, but I was genuinely hurt and embarrassed. Eventually I got a call from my daughter's phone. I was going to be pissed if my wife used her phone. I answered and it was my daughter. My wife was having a panic attack. My daughter kept calling me mean. I decided to go back. Sure enough, she was in the fetal position crying. I kneeled next to her and held her up and hugged her. She kept repeating that she didn't do anything. Like said it a billion times. This was not what I wanted for the mother of my kids, and begins told that I mean really bothered me. A lot. I have decided to believe her. I mean, I don't feel like I have any other choice. I slept with her and that was nice/not nice. Next morning she wanted to have sex. She often deals with stress with sex. Unfortunately I couldn't get it up. Just couldn't. I feel embarrassed by my size and couldn't get an erection. I called off work that day. She was a mess and kept saying that she needs help. But she couldn't tell me what she needed. Took her to urgent care and she received a 14-day supply of an antidepressant and Xanax. We had a follow-up with her primary care doctor and he prescribed the medication long-term. She's still a mess and so am I. I really do feel like a jerk. I've decided to not focus on what happened and let it go.